clubs and Rotary clubs in the area to have opportunities for contact and dialogue with students and teachers on how to better serve the schools and really to look at this conversation through sort of the anti-racist lens, if you will.
Absolutely. That's
Excellent.
great.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So the next topic is about white privilege and what the impact is of us as a district and the community understanding what that is and educating others throughout the community. And Robin DiAngelo in her book, White Fragility, writes that the body of research about children and race demonstrates that white children develop a sense of white superiority as early as preschool. This early start shouldn't be surprising, though, as society sends constant messages that to be white is better than to be a person of color. And based on this quote and the question that we're exploring here, Dr. Hill, what are your thoughts about the impact of understanding white privilege and how we go about doing that in our district?
Well, I thought Mr. Simmons' earlier observation was that as a white person, I wasn't required, didn't need to, or whatever the phraseology is, to have interactions with people of color. I could go up the ladder of success, if you will, and not even give that a thought. Whereas an African American in our country or any person of color does not have that option because of the purse strings, the controls, the influencers are predominantly white. So that brought to mind, there is a white privilege, and usually white people don't see it because they don't need to, because they have it. And I think it's becoming aware, having that awareness. And one of our panelists coming up on the 23rd, he does an excellent job talking about white privilege, and I look forward to that discussion. But what we need to do is be more cognizant of that privilege and to not abuse it, and really to try to equal the playing field rather than maintain it. I think a lot of times people want to maintain their advantages for whatever reason, and I think that's not a very ethical thing to do.
Yeah, I agree with that, Doc. I think, something else that is growing out of this this rise in social justice and conversation is a sentiment that the term white privilege is offensive, and I think we should be cognizant of that evolution, so that people who are just beginning their journey to understand white privilege are also have some space to grapple with that, and not, so just to understand that so that they can continue their growth and their development and really unpack what that means. So, I could not agree more with the statement, but again, that's why it's a journey, not a destination. So, where you are, continuing to have conversations so that you understand that. And something that really stands out for me that talk the equity in schools. Percent of the states in our country have less than 500 African Americans enrolled in their schools of education. So students who have declared to be an education major, less than 500. Another 30%, about 35%, another 35% between 501 and 1,000, right? And there are 15% of states that have greater than 1,000 students of African Americans that identify as an education major. And so the problem that develops when those kinds of situations happen is that the available pool of African Americans becomes shorter. And so there's a concern around what does the recruitment policy look like? Where are you going to find the people who are coming in to select the education as a major? And so I think these become the things that I say are white privilege, because when